Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Frederick Ruffin. Thanks again for joining me. I'm the Managing Director of Rainstar Capital Group. Today, we're going to talk about working capital deal killers. So many of you know that we offer working capital loans, but I want to talk to you about a few things that can kill a deal very early. The first thing I wanted to talk about is some of the main reasons. Cash flow. Cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. Working capital loans are based off of cash flow. So the number one reason why a deal dies is because there's not enough cash flow in order to service the debt. So that's the first thing. Most of the time, for most of our lenders, you're going to need a minimum of 5 deposits a month. And you might say, why? I'm doing $100,000 a month, but it's 1 deposit a month. Well, essentially what the lender is looking for is, to mitigate risk. So if you have 1 deposit every single month for $100,000, God forbid that 1 deposit doesn't come through, essentially the lender has put all their eggs into one basket. So not very appealing for them. So that's why they typically like you to have at least 5 deposits per month. So just heads up on that. And then also the daily average cash balance is too small. So you need at least, looks like $2,000 for most of our lenders is needed for the daily average balance, okay? Now, also, another deal killer would be the credit score is too low. Now, mind you, we can do working capital loans at a 500 FICO. I've even seen them done at a 470. It's really expensive, but it's doable. So that's normally an issue if the client has, very poor credit. Then sometimes that can become a factor depending on the type of working capital loan that we're trying to pursue. The other deal killer would be, now this is the acronym, it's DSCR, banking terminology for debt service coverage ratio. That normally comes into play when they factor in how much revenue is coming in, whether that's for real estate and you're collecting rent every single month and you're looking to get a working capital loan, maybe for some repairs or something like that, and you're looking to do cash out. They want to factor in, is this a rent producing or revenue producing property or business in order to service the debt? So that's what that acronym stands for. And oftentimes, especially in real estate, I'll see a client, they'll own maybe a rental property, but once they factor in, what they're collecting in rent every single month, there's not enough revenue coming in to substantiate the loan, and that's where there's an issue once they factor that in. So normally that means they're charging too low in rent in order to facilitate the need for the loan. So that's what that stands for. And then also, on an initial phone call, when you call me and you say, Frederick, I need some working capital for my business. These are some of the things we're going to discuss when you call me. So the first thing is and I call this the Power 7 questions. So we need to first identify the loan request. What do you need the loan for? Is it working capital? You need a term loan? You need a line of credit? Do you need a merchant cash advance? Through a quick conversation, I'm going to first ascertain what direction we should be going in as far as facilitating the loan request. The second thing is going to be the loan amount, obviously. How much do you need? The third thing is going to be, what's your credit score? I need to know if there's any skeletons in the closet, because that allows me, when I look on our lending platform, it tells me what direction I need to go as far as, do you qualify for their product? And it allows me not to waste time, but I can very quickly say, hey, I know who will be a good fit for your request, okay? Geographic location. That's typically for real estate. If you're looking to do, like I said, a cash out refi, and you're not in a major city or a major MSA, which is what they call it, that could be an issue. So it's going to allow me again to ascertain which lender I need to be working with in order to facilitate the real estate deal, depending on the location of the property. Also, there are some constrictions for some lenders as to what states they're able or licensed to lend in. So that's another question that I'm going to ask in the process. The type of business. Is it a real estate business? Is it a restaurant? Is it retail? So again, that allows me to figure out which lender we need to go to. And then also the last, we also have minimum amount of, or the minimum amount, of monthly deposits. How many deposits are you making every single month? That typically comes into play when we're dealing with like a merchant cash advance, because most of them have a minimum requirement of 5 deposits per month. So I'm going to ask you that. And then lastly, annual revenue of the business. or EBITDA, if that typically comes into play when you're doing ground up construction and we're talking about a stabilized property, or if we're doing a merger and acquisition for you as well. We want to know basically the value of the business or the times value of that business as far as revenue is concerned. That's what EBITDA stands for. I hope this was informative and gives you a high-level idea of what potentially could be a deal killer. Please don't let this be a deterrent in calling me with your requests, because this is just essentially high level. I'm able to help clients in many different situations, whether you have great credit, middle of the road credit, poor credit, or very poor credit. I'm still typically able to facilitate a working capital loan, but this just gives you an idea of what we use as a skeleton when it comes to putting a deal together in our very first conversation. Thanks for tuning in. Again, call me, email me, reach out to me on LinkedIn, reach out to me on Facebook, click on my landing page, go to my submission portal. Multiple ways to reach me, just reach me. Again, thanks again for tuning in. I look forward to talking to you soon.